Hello viewers, this is Dr. K.S.Neharkar, Assistant Professor, Sri Shivaji Law College, Parbhani. I welcome you in my YouTube channel at lecture series on labor laws first. Welcome to the domestic inquiry, process of domestic inquiry in part 2. In first part we have discussed preliminary inquiry and charge sheet, and now we are continuing next. See, the next stage of domestic inquiry or next process of domestic inquiry is the submission of explanation by workman. As you know, the charge sheet it shall ask the employee to submit his explanation. So the workman must submit his explanation within time limit which is provided by charge sheet. The workman must submit his explanation on charges within the time limit which is provided by charge sheet itself. The employee may either admit the charges or he may reject the charges. Then next stage is appointment of inquiry officer. See, the inquiry officer must be appointed as per the rules of natural justice. The employer has to take steps for the appointment of inquiry officer. When employer receives explanation from the workman and when it is not satisfactory to him, he may decide to conduct the domestic inquiry. If the explanation submitted by the workman are satisfactory, then there may not be further process of domestic inquiry. But where it is unsatisfactory, it is not satisfactory, the employer shall appoint the inquiry officer. The inquiry officer the employer must follow the rules of natural justice for the appointment of inquiry officer. So these rules includes that the person who is going to be appointed as inquiry officer should not be biased person. It means no one should be judged in his own cause, because there is chance of injustice. The biased person cannot do the justice. Therefore that person should not be connected to either employer or employees in any way. Then second principle is that he should not be judged in his own cause. It means the matter in which he is going to give the decision, it should not be directly or indirectly connected with the person who is going to be appointed as inquiry officer. Then he should not be the person interested in subject matter, as already I have told you. He must be impartial in that respect also. Then it is required that, because such person should be appointed, that justice should not only be done but it should appear to be done. So all the process should be followed, fairness should be adopted even in appointment of inquiry officer. Then next stage of this process is notice of inquiry. The rules of natural justice requires that the person should be informed about the commencement of domestic inquiry. Actually, it is responsibility of inquiry officer. The inquiry officer must send notice to accused person, and him must send such notice along with the some important particulars. That notice must state the date, time and place of inquiry, where on which date the inquiry is scheduled, at what time it is scheduled, and at what place it is scheduled. So this should be specifically mentioned there. Then the notice must ask workman to appear before the inquiry officer on a given date, by which the person can appear before the inquiry officer and he can submit his he can submit his explanation before the inquiry officer. So the notice of inquiry must be sent to accused person, and this is necessary because The principles of natural justice requires that notice to accused must be given in advance. It may enable the accused person to put proper defense by producing evidences in his support. Next stage is ex-parte inquiry. Ex-parte means in the absence of party. In general, in inquiry there are two or more parties that must appear before the officer, and both parties must submit their explanation, submit their contentions. In if any party absents, he doesn't appear before the authority on given time and date, then the authority may conduct the hearing even in the absence of such party, and the orders can be made. So this is the same thing that is applicable to the process of domestic inquiry also. The ex parte inquiry means inquiry in the absence of other party. It is responsibility of workman to appear before inquiry officer for inquiry. But if he fails to attend the inquiry, then the officer can conduct inquiry in ex parte in his absence, and he can give the findings of his inquiry. He can prepare the report of his inquiry. This report will be called as the finding report, and it shall be sent to disciplinary authority. So this is the another important step of domestic inquiry. So friends, please join me to next part of domestic inquiry. If you like my video, please share it. If you like my channel, please subscribe. So friends, thank you.